And now, Mike's thoughts.
Tyreek Hill has been involved in another altercation. He reportedly smacked a marina employee in the back of the head down in Miami over the weekend. If you guys remember, this is not Tyreek Hill's first interaction with alleged battery, right? A couple years ago, when he first started to make it big, right? Him and his baby mama drama took center stage. Allegedly, he spanked his son and attacked his baby mama. So, guys, let me ask you this question. At what point do we stop letting these people, when I say these people, I mean like NFL players, you know, high profile athletes. When do we start giving them the benefit of the doubt? When do we stop letting them get away with this simple battery and all this other crap? The marina employee has declined to press charges for whatever reason. Maybe a little bit of hush money, maybe a little bit of this, maybe a little bit. Who really knows? But at some point, we have to hold these people accountable. At some point, we have to hold Tyreek Hill accountable. At some point, we need to hold the lineman for the Seattle Seahawks accountable that beat his girlfriend to death. Yes, I know he got pressed charges and he was in jail, but there needs to be better actions than that. The New England cornerback. What makes you think that you can get away with this stuff? Stop being stupid at the end of the day. Come on. Why do you guys do this? You know when you do something, if it's bad, it is going to be a very high profile thing. When you know you do something that is questionable, it is going to be a very high profile thing. Because the media, the world, the general public likes to boast on bad things. Why do you think when we turn into the news, all you hear is bad news? Oh, there's another shooting in Louisville. Oh, there's another shooting in Chicago. 7 people dead in Illinois for a Juneteenth celebration. Because bad news gets clicks. We're not going to talk about the cancer survivor of the 9-year-old, that battled through cancer and did this, and this. That it is what it is. So stop it, Tyreek Hill. Come on, man. Just do better, man. Do better at the end of the day, because you are a high-profile athlete. You are one of the best receivers in the NFL. You are that guy. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that that's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcasher here with the Man Hour. Sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, of course, check out the blog section as well. For some reason, we are having issues connecting to Facebook. Again, I don't know. It is what it is at the end of the day. But we will, let me post this on the old Facebook page, and that we are live. We are Uncut. We are doing what we need to do, but for some reason it is just not going to the Facebook page, and I don't understand why. Let me check it one more time just to make sure. Yeah, it's not going to the Facebook page. So, guys, I definitely apologize. Give me 1 second. Let that beat build. Facebook be tripping. All right, guys, sorry about that. Like I said, this is Michael Buckeister. This is the Man Hour. This is live, raw, uncut sports talk every Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. East Coast time. And we are going through each division, and we are currently breaking down the preseason and mini camp schedule that I have constructed. The ones that I have concocted in my head, and I think we're going to break down each and every game. We've done the NFC North, we've done the NFC East, and today we're going to do the NFC South. The NFC South is probably one of the most intriguing divisions of the NFL, or especially the NFC, but if not the NFL. It's completely wide open from top to bottom. One team wins one more game or loses one game or like a tie. It shuffles everybody up. It is going to be this close. In the South is going to be this competitive this season, and I think we're going to see a lot of upset people when I finally start discussing these things, right? But let's just be honest. At the end of the day, somebody's got to win the South, and it is what it is. Patriots End Zone is in the chat. He says the fashion police issued a warrant for your arrest thanks to that hat. Man, don't be dogging the bucket hat, man. It's football season. You got to wear the bucket hat during training camp and mini camp. Come on, man. And for some reason, the chat is not coming up on my thing again. That is super dumb. But anyways, guys, we are going to start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we break down the NFC South here. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they went 8-9 last season with a playoff berth, winning the division, obviously, but they had a wild card loss to the Dallas Cowboys 31-14. This offseason, they officially have lost Tom Brady to retirement. They signed Baker Mayfield to come and kind of refill that role a little bit. And Mike Evans is poised to find the end zone more, yada, yada, yada. We're going to see how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do this season with Baker Mayfield. Pause real quick. I do love me some Baker Mayfield, so there might be a little bit of bias in there. There might not. I don't know. We will see. But let's see what the Bucs are going to do this season. I have them actually going 8-9 this season. So a repeat of last season, but I feel that all their games are going to be a lot closer than a lot of these 8-9. This 8-9 record does show. I feel like a lot of their games can go one way or the other. The three for sure losses that I have on the year for them are week 3 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles are just much more dominant than them, especially early on in the season. I have them losing to the Buffalo Bills for sure and the San Francisco 49ers for sure. But on the flip side of that coin, the week 4, the Saints matchup, the week 17 Saints matchup, for whatever reason, the Saints have owned them in the regular season for many, many years. So let's go ahead and break it down. Week number 1, they travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. I have them upsetting the Vikings week 1. I think Baker Mayfield is going to absolutely play out of his mind. I think the Vikings are going to be missing Adam Thielen in this week 1 matchup very, very, very much, along with Delvin Cook. And then also the defense has gotten worse as well. So I do see the Vikings actually taking a step back this season, but week number 1 is a victory versus the Minnesota Vikings. Week 2, they're at home versus the Chicago Bears. I saw a crazy post from my man Beastie Combs on the Chicago Bears. He has them going 12-5 this season. I am on the exact opposite spectrum of that. I had them going 7-10 this year. But The Bucks do start the season off 2-0, beating Justin Field and the Chicago Bears. I just don't think the Bears kind of have that it yet this season. Now, later in the year, they could start to get that it factor. Next year, they should have that it factor, and if they don't, Justin Fields is probably out in Chicago. Week number 3, they're at home versus the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. I've been talking about the Super Bowl hangover for the Philadelphia Eagles all off season, and I wanted to make them be bad, but deep down, guys, the Eagles have a really stacked roster. Deep down, the Eagles are a very, very good team, a very veteran present team. The Bucks do lose this game, week 3 versus the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. And then going into week 4, they travel to New Orleans and they lose to the Saints at the Caesars Metrodome. I do know that the Saints have had the Bucks number in the regular season the last couple seasons, and you can say, oh, it's last season, doesn't matter, this doesn't matter, whatever. But at the end of the day, it is all about the mental mindset going into these division games. And right now, the Saints have the mental advantage over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into their bye week, week number 5, and week number 6, they're back at home versus the Detroit Lions. They do beat the Detroit Lions, making them 3-2 on the season. Many people are very, very high on the Detroit Lions. Many people love the Detroit Lions. I do love the Detroit Lions as well, but they do drop this game. Sorry, the Bucks win this game. The Lions drop this game, giving us a Week 7 matchup versus the Falcons. That is a dub as well. I think the Falcons are going to be much improved as well, but it's a division game. Anything can happen. Giving us a Thursday night matchup. The Bucks travel to Buffalo. You guys all know my thoughts on Thursday night games. Absolutely stupid, absolutely asinine, but the Buffalo Bills pull us out, and it's an ugly, ugly game. Thursday games are ugly in general. The Bucks are the road team after a short work week. Is just give me the Bills. Week number 9, they are at the Houston Texans. The Texans are going to surprise some people this season, guys. When we break down the South in a couple days, look out for the Houston Texans clip. Watch it and enjoy it because it is going to raise some eyebrows. But the Bucks do beat the Houston Texans and their CJ Stroud and all the boys that they got going on down there. Give us a Week 10 matchup versus the Titans. They do beat the Titans. The Titans take a huge step back this season. King Henry has officially found the cliff and has started to fall off. The whole Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis saga is kind of reaching its point there and is worrying on Ryan Tannehill. He says, if you don't want me, just let me out at the end of the day. Giving us a Week 11 matchup when they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Once again, I am down on the 49ers as well, guys. If you guys are following us on Facebook page, you know that I have them as a pretty down record here. I'm not going to do it on the live yet. We're doing them tomorrow, so we'll save that. But if you guys want to go there and check it out, feel free to. But the Bucks do lose to the 49ers a Week 11 matchup. The coast-to-coast thing is very, very hard on very team, especially Week 11, 12, 13, 14, end of year. That's when the grind really, really starts. And then one of the surprise upsets, I think, of the year will be the Colts versus the Bucks. And the Colts do beat the Bucks in this Week 12 matchup, giving us a Week 13 matchup when they travel or when they're back at home versus Carolina. Carolina Panthers beat them as well. Week 14, they lose to the Falcons. Week 15, they lose to the Packers. Week 16, Jacksonville Jaguars. Welcome, come to town. They beat the Jaguars. They beat the Saints, and to end the season, losing to the Carolina Panthers, giving them an 8-9 record. Now, last year, 8-9 got them into the playoffs. Is it going to be enough? Is that enough to really catapult them to the top of the division? We will see, to be determined. So, with that being said, 8-9, we have to go down to the next team, and that is the New Orleans Saints. So, guys, the New Orleans Saints as well got a brand new quarterback this off season. Derek Carr is officially a New Orleans Saint, and the Saints have kind of just been the last couple seasons, right? Michael Thomas is allegedly going to be coming back. They do have Alvin Kamara still, even though we don't know what his suspension is going to be with the whole fight during the NFL Pro Bowl last season. But the Saints did finish 7-10 last season, missing the playoffs. And guys, this year I think they are exact opposite. I do see the Saints going 10-7 this season. So a 3-win improvement from 2022, and a lot of it is on the shoulders of Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is the make or break point for this team. Michael Thomas isn't. Alvin Kamara isn't. The Cam Jordan isn't. It is a wholly 100% sold on Derek Carr. How good can Derek Carr be this season? Can he keep improving like he did in Vegas and Oakland and like LA? He seems to get better each and every year, so we'll see how much he can adapt to New Orleans this year. But they do open up against the Titans week number 1. That is a victory over them. Like I said, I see the Titans taking a lot of steps back this season. Then they travel to Carolina. Monday Night Football, Bryce Young versus Derek Carr. That is going to probably be must-see TV, honestly, to see if Bryce Young is the man or not in Carolina. I know it's a week 2 matchup, but we'll definitely start to see that. I think the Panthers upset the Saints week number 2. I'm calling it an upset now because many people think the Panthers are going to be another first overall pick. We'll get into that later. Week number 3, they travel to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers, a 12-win Green Bay Packers this season. They do lose that game as well. Give us a week 4 matchup when they play the Buccaneers at home. They beat the Bucs for the first time. They do have the Bucs number, as previously said. Week number 5, they travel to New England. New England is a very intriguing team to me. Mac Jones is super excited about Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is arguably one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL. Not a very good GM or a head coach, but offensive coordinator. Get that man a beer because he is going to sit down and he is going to put in some magic for you guys. So the New England Patriots are probably the biggest wild card, I think, in the NFL. How good or how bad can they be? Unfortunately, I think they're going to be pretty good. And they do beat the Saints in this week 5 matchup because Mac Jones is going to go off, baby. Mac Jones is going to go off 5 touchdowns. Their defense is going to be locked down. DeAndre Hopkins is going to get his bread. Hear what I said there? Did you guys peep that? Give us a week 6 matchup when they travel to Houston to take on the Texans. That is a dub as well. Thursday night matchup. They're at home versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, it is a time zone change for the Jaguars, but it is still an 8:15 start in the Jaguars' head. So this travel is not as big on this Thursday night game, but give me the Saints in this one as well. Giving us a week 8 matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts at Indy. I will be at this game. Very, very excited about this. They do beat the Colts. Week number 9, they're back at home versus the Chicago Bears. They do beat the Bears, giving us a 4-game winning streak for the Saints. Look out, guys. Hold my beer. And then it comes off when they go to Minnesota and they lose to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins and the boys at 1 o'clock, they are pretty freaking good. They're pretty good. But unfortunately, the Vikings play a lot of primetime games. Give us week 11, bye week. Week number 12, they travel to Atlanta. They lose to the Falcons. And then they beat the Lions at home. They beat the Carolina Panthers at home. And then they beat the New York Giants at home. They traveled to LA to beat the Ramless Rams on the road, giving us the final 2 games of the season at Tampa Bay and versus Atlanta Falcons. Both losses, giving them a 10-7 record on the season. Now, this is a little bit better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers were 8-9. The Saints are 10-7. Are we excited about this? We should be, because this is going to give us a showdown in the South, right? A couple games here, a couple games there. Bada bing, a bada boom. It is time to make some magic, baby. With that being said, the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers have basically a brand new look on the offensive side of the ball. New quarterback, new receiver core, new running back, some additions to the offensive line. They did finish second in the NFC South last season with a 7-10 record. Nothing to really sneeze about, but like I said, the South was really bad last year. The Bucks won it with an 8-9 record, so one win there, they would have won the division. But they ultimately ended up with the first overall pick, which is not a bad thing, right? If you're in a rebuild mode, but it also gives you a lot of favorable games this season, right? So the Carolina Panthers guys, like I said, they finished 7-10 last season. This year I had them going 10-7. 10-7. They open up on the road versus Atlanta. That is a loss. I think Bryce Young is going to feel a little overwhelmed. His first game, it's going to be a lot of hype. Desmond Ridder versus Bryce Young. How many times are we going to see this in the future? Yada, yada, yada. I think it's just going to be a little bit overwhelmed, and the Falcons just have a better defense. So offenses normally don't click in the first quarter. Defenses do. I think the Falcons have a little bit better defense right now, and they win that game. Monday Night Football at home versus the Saints. This is when everything starts to click for the Carolina Panthers. This is when things start to happen. They beat the Saints. But then they travel to Seattle. Coast-to-coast game. It's tough. It is early in the season. They are young, but they lose to the Seahawks. They beat the Vikings, and then they kind of get in this gauntlet here. The Lions and Dolphins back-to-back weeks, both on the road. Both losses, unfortunately. Given a Week 7 bye week, catch their breath, and this is where they say, hold my beer, we're getting ready to go on a tear. They beat the Texans, they beat the Colts back-to-back weeks, but then they lose to the Bears on the road and lose to the Cowboys. And then they beat the Texans, they beat the Titans on the road, and they beat the Bucks on the road, but then they lose to the Saints at 3-game stretches. So they've had 4 road games in 5 weeks. That is tough. And then they finish out the season on a 4-game winning streak over the Falcons, over the Packers. They travel to Jacksonville, beat the Jaguars, and they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 18, finishing with a 10-7 record. Nothing to sneeze about. Nothing. That is a 3-game improvement. Now, there are a lot of games that could go their way, right? Atlanta Falcons, week 1, could definitely go their way. Chicago Bears, week 10, could definitely go their way. It is a Thursday night game, but that's why I picked the Bears, because it's a Thursday night game, but it is what it is. But I do have the Carolina Panthers going 10-7 this season. They should be excited. They should be very, very pumped about this, because their season is about to go pretty good, my man. So far, guys, we have the Panthers going 10-7. We have the Saints going 10-7. And then we had the Bucks going 8-9. Giving us a breakdown, could the Falcons win the division? Could we do a little bit of this? Could we do a little bit of that? Who really knows? Guys, I see that Facebook has finally started to load. So we have already broke down the Bucks. They are 8-9 on the season. We've already broke down the Saints. They are 10-7 on the season. We've already broke down the Panthers. They are 10-7 as well. But now it is time to go to one of the most possibly exciting teams in the NFL, possibly one of the dark horses in the NFL, possibly the NFC South champions, and that is the Atlanta Falcons, guys. The Atlanta Falcons, I feel they are kind of one of the most slept on teams in the NFL. They did finish tied with second in the division last season with 7-10. Pretty much everybody was 7-10, but the Bucks last season they were 8-9. But guys, the Atlanta Falcons, they are a very intriguing team. Desmond Ridder is the man. Finally, hopefully, their tight end, what's his face, is finally healthy and can finally catch the ball and do well. What is the tight end's name? Kyle Pitts, right? Hopefully, Kyle Pitts can be healthy. They have Drake London. They have Bijan Robertson, their 8th overall pick, ninth overall pick. Guys, the Falcons got some things cooking, but I had them going 8-9 on the season. It is game improvement. It is a game improvement, but I had them going 8-9 on the season. Just unfortunately, I do not see a lot of things going their way this season, right? I see a lot of close games, but then I also see a lot of blowouts as well. Now, one of the first close games is this week 1 matchup versus the Carolina Panthers. They do win this game simply because the Carolina Panthers are a little overwhelmed. It's a very, very close game, but then we go to week 2 at home versus the Packers. That is a blowout. Week 3, they travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. That is a blowout. Week 4, they're at Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. That is a blowout. But then we got a couple close games. A win versus the Texans, a close game, 3-4 point game. A win over the Commanders, 7-point game. Close loss versus the Bucks coming up week 7. Close loss versus the Titans, week number 8. Week number 9. They forget to show up. 3-game losing streak now versus the Vikings. But then they kind of start to turn it around a little bit. They beat the Arizona Cardinals in a nice little slugfest at Arizona. Cardinals are not very good, but the Falcons are not very good at this point either, right? They've kind of just snuck by. Give us a week 11 bye week, giving us a matchup versus the Saints week 12. They win that game. They travel to New York. They lose to the Jets, but then they beat the Bucks. They lose to the Panthers on the road, beat the Colts, lose to the Bears in Chicago, and then they beat the Saints to end the season, giving them an 8-9 record. It's nothing to be sad about, right? The Falcons are right there. Last year, the Bucks won the division at 8-9. Now, it's not enough to win the division this year, but with that being said, they are an improved team. Desmond Ridder is going to kind of put his pulse on the team. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Robertson are kind of going to start to become this powerful little nucleus in Atlanta. This is going to catapult them into the 24, 25, 26 season when they're probably going to win the division. As long as nothing catastrophic happens, as long as nothing crazy happens, they will be okay and they'll be fine moving forward. So just to break it down again, guys, we have the Falcons going 8-9. We have the Bucks going 8-9. We have the Saints going 10-7, and then we have the Panthers going 10-7 as well. So with all that being said, the South Division looks like this. This is my prediction for the South moving forward. I do have the Panthers finishing in first place with the 10-7 record with the 4-2 in the division. The Saints will be second with 10-7 with the 2-4 divisional record. Falcons come in at third with 8-9 with a 4-2 divisional record. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finish 8-9 with a 2-4 divisional record as well. So if you guys have been watching the last couple lives, guys, 10, 11, 12 wins is kind of where all the division winners are at. So could we possibly see 2 playoff teams from the NFC South? Could we see the NFC South possibly make some noise in the playoffs? Could we see a potential NFC South NFC championship? Who knows? What I do know is that there are a lot of upset people about this. There are a lot of upset people for whatever reason thinking that I am smoking crack, I'm doing a little bit of this, I'm doing that. Like, first of all, every time I make a post, be like, are you on drugs? What are you drinking? Why are you doing this? Well, give me a valid reason why the Carolina Panthers cannot go 10 wins this season. Give me a valid reason why the New Orleans Saints cannot be a 10 wins 10 this season. Hell, give me a valid reason why the Falcons and Bucks can't be a 10-win team this season. Now, when we readdress all of these picks in middle of August, once preseason starts and we see some preseason games and OTAs and minicamp and all that stuff, we will reevaluate reevaluate this. We'll see the progression of Bryce Young and Derek Carr and like how the teams are interacting and playing and like whatnot. We will be able to look past, right? We'll be able to look past of what we're seeing and doing this and like whatnot. So as of right now, as of June 21st, 2023, I do have the Carolina Panthers winning the division at 10-7. I do have the Saints coming in at second, and then the Falcons, and then the Bucks. So, guys, that is the NFC South breakdown for today. Like I said, we'll go really in-depth in August in this. So if you guys enjoy this at all, let me know. Comment below, subscribe, share this with a couple friends as like as well, because we definitely enjoy doing the show, me and the boys, and some changes are going to start happening. You guys are going to start seeing a little bit of things start trickle in. Pat, Derek, Joey, Matthew Lyle, possibly. You guys are going to see some changes, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But guys, as always, this is Michael Blackash's live, raw, uncut NFL talk. Tomorrow, NFC West, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams. Get ready for some more pissed off fans.